What if the GMC you're about to buy is on my worst list? 3 models that quietly drain your wallet year after year, and 4 that hit 300,000 miles like it's nothing. Stay until the end for number 1 on the best list. It's the GMC most dealers don't want you buying used, because once it's sold, it rarely comes back for repairs. And that's not great for business. Worst GMC number 3, the GMC Terrain. Specifically the 2018 through 2024 models. The Terrain looks like a great choice on paper. It's affordable, it's got a nice interior, and it's the right size for most families. But underneath that pretty exterior is a reliability nightmare. Consumer Reports gave recent Terrain models a reliability score of 17 out of 100. Let that sink in. 17 out of 100? That's one of the lowest scores of any vehicle they've ever tested. So what's going wrong? First, the brakes. Terrain owners are replacing brake pads and rotors at 20,000 to 30,000 miles. That's half the lifespan you'd expect from a normal vehicle. I've talked to owners who've gone through 3 sets of brakes before hitting 60,000 miles. At $300 to $500 per brake job, that adds up fast. Second, the 9-speed automatic transmission. This transmission has hesitation issues that drive owners crazy. You press the gas pedal and nothing happens for a second or two. Then, the truck lurches forward. It's hunting for gears constantly, never quite sure which one it wants to be in. Some owners describe it as feeling like the transmission is confused, and when it starts to fail, you're looking at $2,500 to $4,000 for a rebuild. Third, rust. The Terrain has serious corrosion issues, especially in northern climates. I've seen Terrains with less than 5 years of age showing rust bubbles on the wheel wells, rocker panels, and around the rear hatch. Once rust starts, it spreads, and rust repairs are expensive, $800 to $1,500 per panel, and that's if you catch it early. Fourth, electrical gremlins. Random warning lights, infotainment screens that freeze or go black, backup cameras that stop working, key fobs that won't communicate with the vehicle. These electrical issues are maddening because they're intermittent. You take your Terrain to the dealer, and of course it works perfectly while they have it. Then you drive home, and the problems come back. The Terrain also has carbon buildup issues on the direct injection engines. Carbon deposits form on the intake valves because there's no fuel washing over them, like in port injection engines. Over time, this carbon buildup restricts airflow and causes rough idle, misfires, and reduced power. Cleaning the carbon requires walnut blasting, which costs $400 to $600, and you'll need to do it every 50,000 to 60,000 miles. If you're looking at a used Terrain, my advice is simple: don't. There are better options in the compact SUV segment that won't nickel and dime you to death, but the Terrain isn't even the worst offender. The next one on my list has problems so bad that even Consumer Reports pulled their recommendation. And they almost never do that. Worst GMC number 2, the GMC Acadia. Specifically the 2017 through 2025 models. The Acadia used to be a solid choice. The first generation, built from 2007 to 2016, was actually pretty reliable. But when GM redesigned it for 2017, everything went downhill. Consumer Reports removed their recommended rating from the Acadia. That's a big deal. They don't do that unless there are serious, widespread problems. Let's start with the engine. The base engine in recent Acadias is a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. On paper, it makes 228 horsepower, which sounds adequate. In reality, this engine is gutless. Owners describe it as wheezy, underpowered, and raspy. It struggles to merge onto highways, it struggles to climb hills, it struggles to do anything a 3-row SUV needs to do. And it's not just weak, it's loud. The engine noise that comes into the cabin is unrefined and annoying. You're constantly hearing the engine straining to keep up with traffic. The 3.6-liter V6 is better, but it has its own issues. Timing chain problems have plagued this engine for years. When the timing chain stretches or the guides wear out, you get a rattling noise on startup and eventually engine damage. Replacing the timing chain and guides costs $1,500 to $2,500. The infotainment system in the Acadia is another source of frustration. It freezes, it lags, it randomly reboots while you're driving. The touchscreen becomes unresponsive. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto disconnect randomly. These aren't minor annoyances. They're daily frustrations that make you hate your vehicle. The brakes on the Acadia have the same problems as the Terrain. Grabby, inconsistent, and they wear out prematurely. Owners report a spongy brake pedal feel that makes it hard to modulate stopping power. Thermostat failures are common on the Acadia. When the thermostat fails, your engine either runs too hot or too cold. Running too hot can cause head gasket failure. Running too cold causes poor fuel economy and increased engine wear. A thermostat replacement costs $200 to $400, but if you ignore it and overheat the engine, you're looking at thousands in damage. The AC condenser is another weak point. It's positioned in a way that makes it vulnerable to road debris. A single rock can puncture the condenser and you lose your air conditioning. Replacement cost? $800 to $1,200. If you need a 3-row SUV, look at the Chevrolet Traverse, the Honda Pilot, or the Toyota Highlander. All of them are more reliable than the Acadia. Quick thing, if you're finding this helpful, hit subscribe. It's free, and it helps the channel keep exposing which models to buy and which to avoid. Now here's the one that shocked me the most. This is a truck that should be great. It's got the right platform, the right size, and the right price point. But GM somehow managed to mess it up so badly that they had to stop selling it for a while. Worst GMC number 1. The GMC Canyon. Specifically the 2023 through 2025 models, the new generation. The previous generation Canyon, built from 2015 to 2022, was actually a decent truck. It had some issues, but nothing catastrophic. When GM redesigned it for 2023, they created a disaster. In 2024, GM had to temporarily stop selling the Canyon because of software issues. They literally told dealers to stop delivering trucks to customers until they could figure out the problems. That's how bad it was. The infotainment system freezes constantly. The screen goes black while you're driving. The backup camera stops working. The climate controls become unresponsive. Owners have reported having to pull over and restart their trucks just to get the screen working again. But the software issues are just the beginning. The 2.7-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine has had cylinder head failures. This is a catastrophic problem that requires engine replacement or major rebuild. We're talking $8,000 to $12,000 in repairs on a truck that's barely out of warranty. Turbocharger malfunctions are another issue. The turbo can fail prematurely, causing loss of power and poor fuel economy. Turbo replacement costs $2,000 to $3,000. The suspension on the new Canyon has been described as the worst in the mid-size truck segment. It's harsh over bumps, it doesn't handle well, and it makes the truck feel cheap despite its premium price tag. For a truck that costs $40,000 to $50,000 loaded, that's unacceptable. The build quality is also questionable. Owners have reported panel gaps, rattles, squeaks, and interior trim pieces that come loose. These are quality control issues that shouldn't exist on a modern vehicle. If you want a mid-sized truck, look at the Toyota Tacoma or the Ford Ranger. Both are more reliable than the current Canyon. Or find a used 2015 to 2022 Canyon. The previous generation is a much better. All right, those are the 3 GMC models I'd never recommend. Now let's talk about the 4 best. These are the models that'll run forever if you maintain them. The ones that'll still be on the road when everything else is rusted away. The ones that are actually worth your money. Best GMC number 4. The GMC Sierra 1500. Specifically the 2014 and 2017 through 2018 model years. I've talked about the 2014 before. It's the first year of the K2XX platform that everyone avoids but is actually a goldmine. The 2017 and 2018 models are even better because they've had a few more years of refinement. The 2018 Sierra 1500 has one of the lowest problem rates of any full-size truck. Only 9% of owners reported any issues with the transmission. That's incredibly low for a vehicle with hundreds of thousands on the road. The 5.3-liter V8 in these trucks is bulletproof. It's been in production for decades, and GM has worked out all the kinks. With proper maintenance, oil changes every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Transmission service every 50,000 miles. This engine will easily hit 250,000 miles. The 6.2-liter V8 is even better if you can find one. It makes 420 horsepower and has no active fuel management in most configurations, which eliminates the lifter problems that plague some GM engines. The 6-speed automatic transmission in these trucks is rock solid. It's been in production since 2007, and by 2017, it was fully mature. No harsh shifts, no shuddering, no hunting for gears. You can find a clean 2017 or 2018 Sierra One 500 with under 100,000 miles for $22,000 to $28,000, depending on trim and options. That's a lot of truck for the money. What to look for? Check the oil consumption on the 5.3 liter. Ask the owner if they've had to add oil between changes. A healthy engine should use less than a quart every 5,000 miles. Check the transmission fluid. It should be bright red and smell clean. And look for rust on the rocker panels and cab corners if you're in a northern climate. But if you need something bigger than a half-ton truck, the next one on my list is even more impressive. This is the workhorse that commercial fleets rely on, and there's a reason for that. Best GMC number 3. The GMC Sierra 2500 HD and 3500 HD. These heavy-duty trucks are built to work, and they're built to last. The Sierra HD has the highest reliability ratings of any GMC vehicle according to Consumer Reports. Nearly 30% of Sierra HDs make it to 250,000 miles. That's almost 1 in 3 trucks reaching 250,000 miles. You have 2 engine choices: the 6.6-liter gas V8 or the Duramax diesel. The 6.6-liter gas engine is massively underrated. It makes 401 horsepower and 464 pound-feet of torque. It'll tow 18,500 pounds, and it costs $8,000 to $10,000 less than the Duramax option. Maintenance on the gas engine is cheap. No DEF fluid, no diesel particulate filter, no high-pressure fuel pump that can grenade and send metal shavings through your fuel system. Just regular oil changes and basic maintenance. The Duramax diesel is legendary for durability. I've seen Duramax engines with over 500,000 miles still running strong. If you're towing heavy loads regularly, the Duramax is worth the extra money. But for most people, the gas engine is the smarter choice. The Allison transmission paired with these engines is commercial grade. It's overbuilt for this application, which means it'll last the life of the truck with proper maintenance. You can find a used Sierra 2500 HD with the gas engine for $35,000 to $45,000 with reasonable miles. The same truck with a Duramax costs $50,000 to $60,000. Either way, you're getting a truck that'll work hard for decades. Now this next one surprises people because it's not a truck, but it might be the most versatile GMC you can buy and one of the most reliable. Best GMC number 2. The GMC Yukon and Yukon XL. If you need to haul people instead of cargo, the Yukon is the way to go. The Yukon shares its platform and powertrain with the Sierra, which means you get the same bulletproof engines and transmissions in a full-size SUV package. I've talked to Yukon owners with 300,000 miles on their original engine and transmission. One owner has a 2015 Yukon XL Denali that just crossed 300,000 miles. He's done nothing but regular maintenance, oil changes, transmission service, brakes, and tires. The engine has never been opened. Another owner has a 2002 Yukon XL with 300,000 miles. Same story. Original engine, original transmission, just basic maintenance. The 5.3-liter V8 in the Yukon is the same engine that's in the Sierra. It's proven, it's reliable, and parts are cheap and available everywhere. The Yukon XL is especially valuable if you need the extra cargo space. It's basically a Suburban with a GMC badge, and Suburbans have a reputation for going 400,000 miles or more. What to look for when buying a used Yukon? Same as the Sierra. Check oil consumption, check transmission fluid, and look for rust. Also, check the rear air suspension if the vehicle is equipped with it. The air springs can fail and cost $500 to $800 per corner to replace. Many owners convert to traditional coil springs to eliminate this problem. You can find a clean Yukon with under 100,000 miles for $25,000 to $35,000, depending on year and trim. The Yukon XL commands a slight premium because of the extra space. Now here's the one I promised you at the beginning, the GMC that dealers don't want you buying used, the one that never comes back for repairs, the one that's been hiding in plain sight for years. Best GMC number 1, the GMC Savannah. This is the full-size van that commercial fleets have relied on for decades, and it might be the most reliable vehicle GMC makes. The Savannah shares its powertrain with the Sierra HD. You get the same 6.6-liter gas V8, or the option for the older 5.3 or 6.0-liter V8s in earlier models. These engines are designed for commercial use, which means they're overbuilt for durability. I've seen Savannahs with 400,000 miles still working as delivery vans. Plumbers, electricians, and contractors put hundreds of thousands of miles on these vans because they simply don't break down. The reason dealers don't want you buying a used Savannah is simple. They never come back for repairs. There's no service revenue. There's no upselling. The van just keeps running. The Savannah hasn't changed much in decades, and that's actually a good thing. GM has had years to refine every component. There are no experimental technologies, no first-year redesign problems, no software glitches. Just a simple, proven platform that works. Parts are incredibly cheap because they're shared with millions of other GM trucks and vans. A water pump costs $80. An alternator costs $150. Brake pads cost $40. You can maintain a Savannah for a fraction of what it costs to maintain a modern crossover. If you're looking for a work van, a camper van conversion, or just a reliable vehicle that'll haul anything anywhere, the Savannah is the answer. You can find used Savannahs for $15,000 to $25,000, depending on mileage and configuration. Cargo vans are cheaper than passenger vans, and because they're not in high demand from regular consumers, prices stay reasonable. What to look for? Check for rust on the lower body panels and wheel wells. Check the transmission fluid. Listen for any unusual engine noises. And check the service records. Commercial vans are often maintained religiously because downtime costs money. So here's the bottom line. The 3 worst GMC models, the Terrain, the Acadia, and the New Canyon, will cost you thousands in repairs and frustration. Avoid them. The 4 best GMC models, the Sierra 1500, the Sierra HD, the Yukon, and the Savannah, will run for hundreds of thousands of miles if you maintain them properly. Buy them with confidence. If you're shopping for a GMC, do your homework. Don't just buy what looks good on the lot. Look at reliability data, talk to owners, and understand what you're getting into before you sign the papers. Now you know which GMC models to buy and which to avoid. If you want to know which model years are the best deals, check out my video on the 3 GMC model years everyone avoids that are actually gold mines. And if you want to make your GMC last over 300,000 miles, watch my video on how to make your GMC last forever without expensive repairs. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.